Okay, today is Wednesday, February 4th, and once again, it's been a minute since I did video, but so much shit flying around all the time, and I really only want to address what I think is the important shit anyway. And I want to start with the obviously biggest issue right now is Trump popping off and saying that they want to some degree, nationalize the federal elections. That is going to happen. Now, that does not mean nationwide. He blurted out and said something like 15 states. It could be 18 states. It could be 2. It could be 3. But they are going to do that as far as taking over the vote count either during or after the voting's done. Lesser so in the 26 midterms, but more so come 2028. And I'm going to back that up by saying Trump says that. And it was roughly 3 days ago I saw on Fox, I checked, it's on YouTube if you want to look it up. Fox was rehashing that birthright citizenship, birthright tourism. And of course that's been on the news for years. China's been doing it via Hong Kong for something like 15 years or some horse shit. They're estimating, even by China's numbers, it could be up to 1.5 million. They always just address the Chinese. Other countries are doing the same damn thing. And add that into them raiding that elections office in Georgia, and they had the director of national intelligence, the Gabbard lady there. Of course, that was done on purpose because whether or not there's voter fraud from X amount of foreigners in other countries who have birthright, which they do. When you do this birthright tourism shit, you get a U.S. birth certificate and then you apply for a Social Security card. You're an American citizen. And come 18, you get to vote and do whatever the fuck and apply for benefits here. I don't know how many people got the COVID money, but, oh shit, probably all of them. But where was I? Oh, that's why they had Tulsi Gabbard there. I guarantee you there is voter fraud there. And I'm not just talking about the common voter fraud we all know about or claim we know about from watching videos in the news over the years, but especially our beloved truthers faking votes. I'm talking about the government, CIA, FBI level, whatever, hacking voting machines. I'm talking about grassroots people on the street, the voters fraud. Think about it this way, and this is true. I'm going to say this has happened. To what degree, I do not know. Especially when we went from Trump to Biden to Trump, and going from Biden to Trump, all the hatred there against Trump from the fucking Democrats in a bunch of these states. You look at it, you got mostly a bunch of old people, volunteers sitting there counting these votes. How many of them people, these older people, start talking to each other? And you decide, okay, one out of every 50 that are for Trump, I'm not siding with Trump. I'm giving the example and how easy this can happen. I bet it. I know it. I bet my life on it. It does. They decide 1 out of every 50 that goes to Trump, we're going to say was for Biden. Okay, how do you get around that? Oh, well, they did recounts. Well, who was doing the recounts? The same fucking people. I don't know why my throat gets dry when I start doing these. So you got that shit. You got them rehashing. I don't know why they just say China, because China's supposed to be the big bad enemy, which they are. Don't doubt that for a fucking second. So you got that. They're gonna find stuff. Whether it is there, to what degree we do not know. But if it's not big enough, they're gonna blow it up and make it look bigger because they have to, or else Trump looks like a fucking idiot for going and doing this raid. And this is gonna result in Trump's FBI people doing the same thing in other places and finding more stuff. And again, it is there. Hang on, I got to pause. Okay, and the other bigger thing is that the media will never address. I don't even know if any YouTubers ever have the truth, our beloved truthers. Why does nobody ever address, maybe they're just afraid to touch it, but what about tampering with, threatening people, blackmailing people, paying people off, in the electoral college for the electoral college votes, since they're the ones that do the voting anyway. Okay, let's move on from that. Oh, I have not been, the only person's other videos that I've been watching are from the Angry Hobo. And I even didn't watch his or anything else. I watch movies because my sister and I, when we move June of next year, we want to get an RV. I know about RVs. They're fucking trash, especially you got to go pre-2018 and get... I know all that, so you don't have to leave comments about that. But anyway, that's if we're all still here in the economy. We're going to be here. It just depends on how fucked up the economy is by then. But I know these channels are still putting out videos. Civil War's coming. They're like Richie from Boston always saying. Others do. Oh, they're practicing. It's always practicing. But take the events right now since Trump got going with all these various federal agencies involved in these ICE roundups. They keep doing the same thing. Oh, they're practicing, or they're getting people used to seeing troops on the street, or they're escalating on purpose so they can put more troops on the street. Then why haven't they done that? As I've said before, even though it's been a minute, few months, why aren't they escalating this? Have a sniper shoot a couple ICE agents or Minnesota cops or whatever. I'm going to get to those 2 shootings too. God dang it. Why aren't they escalating it and make it so it happened? They had the perfect chance when those 2 National Guardsmen were shot, and I think it was D.C., and that one lady's dead. The other guy got a bullet in the head, so he's fucked up for the rest of his life. Why did they escalate then? It's not what they want. I guarantee you, I promise you, they do not want civil war. They don't want a race war. They don't want gun confiscation. Okay. I think that's in my notes here. Trump's made a couple comments. The latest one was after that dude Petty got shot, and I think his press secretary, and somebody else made a stupid comment about don't carry a gun to a protest. And all these people around, all our beloved truthers around away with, oh God, they want to take guns. They don't want it. They would love it if they could take our guns, but they can never ever take our guns because it's physically impossible. By the numbers, it's impossible. I'm going to do this again because I used to do this. I did this several times over the years, going back 8 years. Let's say they want to do gun confiscation, and they start in one city, in one state, or amass a bunch of National Guardsmen and active duty troops in 10 major cities at the same time. Where are they going to get those numbers to do all that? Oh, they're going to bring in UN troops, the Chinese troops, the Russian troops, Korea, Canada's going to help. Bullshit. That shit would never fly. Every time you watch an event on TV, you can go back and watch thing on history, on cops, watch the news every day. How many cops are chasing one guy in a car with a gun? 10, 20, 30 police cars. And then when they corner him, they're all surrounding the car forever until they can finally shoot him or he gives up. How many cops do you see with their AMRAPs, their armored personnel carriers, when they have a guy in a house with a gun? By the time that's all said and done, there's another 30 cops outside there, SWAT teams, snipers, and they're armored. Come on, that is, by the frickin' numbers, that is impossible for them to ever do that. And in fact, as soon as it started in one city, the rest of the people that are actually going to do it are going to do the whole lock and load thing, and it's not going to happen. And all our troops would never go for that. No, they're not going to bring in the UN and NATO, and that shit ain't going to fucking happen. Okay, let me move on. Oh, Venezuela. I got to show a couple screen. Oh, I don't know if I can show screenshots this way. Like I said, I think it was my very last video that said it was 4 weeks ago. I forgot to look at the date. Venezuela, when they snatch Maduro, they're going to surrender. They're going to capitulate. They did it. They know damn well, like I said, once they snatched him, all the other ones can get out. The woman that's running the country now and all the military leaders can get out there and talk all that smack, how they're going to fight the United States, and you got to worry about jungle warfare with the cartels. That would never happen easy either. They don't need to do that. They got drones and all this other horse shit and send in their SEALs and their sniper, black bag guys and all that horse shit. But anyway, they immediately had to go into being scared to fucking death. They were going to get snatched, or the U.S. was going to start sending drones on their houses, and then Trump was going to get on TV and say, oh, they were making plans to strike the U.S. Let me pause here because I need to read something. Okay, I don't think I can hold this up there because it's going to be backwards. This was posted the 30th. Venezuela's acting president overhauls oil industry amid pressure from Trump. I'm just going to highlight from my screenshots. The acting president, that Rodriguez woman, signed a law overhauling their oil sector, opening it to privatization. The same day Trump signed his order, safeguarding Venezuelan oil revenue for the good of America and the Venezuelan people. They are going to get some money. I mean, they'll pass out enough to make it look good. Blocking U.S. courts from seizing the oil revenues held in American Treasury accounts. Okay, because... U.S. courts from seizing... Oh, they're not going to seize the Venezuelan oil revenues. They don't need to. They got the oil now, so they're going to have all the money they want. We're talking about the future, the president now set over there, whatever she is. It ends the monopoly over the production, sale of oil, as well as pricing. The New Law states a private company will assume full management at its own expense and risk. They'll probably still have to have some security, of course, from BlackRock or some horse shit or whoever, like Trump said. Oh, that's another thing. Vanguard is going to take over a couple of the Chinese ports now in Panama because conveniently the Panama courts ruled against them. So now, is it Vanguard that can take the ports? Anyway, you see what's rolling on here underneath Trumpy? Additionally, it modifies extraction taxes, setting a royalty cap at a rate of 30%. So Venezuela is going to get 30% of the royalties. It does leave laws. The law leaves control of hydrocarbon reserves operated by private companies with the government. The U.S. would retain control of the oil revenue. Venezuela would do budgets. The funds would be moved to an account, which the U.S. will have oversight. Money would be in the hands of the U.S. U.S. could control disbursement to ensure its benefits the Venezuelan people. They'll get some money out of it to make it look good, and that goes in, like I said in my next video, they want to get a hold of that Venezuelan oil because they've been prepping to go start bombing in Iran and other parts of the Middle East again. And now that they have control of the oil, they're speeding up what's going on over there in Iran. See? It wasn't that fucking hard to figure out. And I agree with taking the oil, and I'm going to get that. I wrote that in the back of my notes here so I don't forget. And I can't remember all this shit, so I got to write it down. Oh, now they're rehashing on CNN and Fox. They put that shit up that nobody is an illegal in this country because we're all immigrants. That's not true. How many of us are the descendants of conquerors? And I don't know if I am. I do know my older sister who died from cancer like 15 years ago or something did a family tree, and we had somebody that fought the Civil War. I don't remember which side, but was here then. So some of us are descendants of conquerors, not illegals that came over after the country was conquered. Because if you're a conqueror, you're not illegal, right? Because if you want to look at it that way, then I should have looked it up, but when the U.S. took those states down south from Mexico, that didn't make them immigrants or illegals. That made them conquerors. You get the picture. I had to throw that in there. Okay, let's go. Oh, the shit going on. Oh, I got to address those two shootings. But the thing with ICE, and you got the pro-illegals saying they need to have warrants for those people. Why? All these ICE people down at the southern border, the northern border, we're going to stick with the southern border. That's where the most of them are coming from. If an illegal crosses the border, do they have to have a warrant to arrest that person, detain them, and send them back across the border? No, they do not. So fuck all that warrant dumb shit. Okay, is it illegal and unconstitutional to pull somebody over and ask for ID? Of course it is. And I don't know why judges aren't ruling against that. I mean, I get what they're doing. They want to get rid of all these illegals, but you got to stop this shit just so you can ask somebody for your ID. That's unconstitutional. And I don't think there's a state now where you could just stop and ask for ID without having some sort of reasonable suspicion. That goes with walking, being in a vehicle, going into somebody's house, unless it's, like it is for all of us. It's an active crime when they're chasing you and they see you running somewhere. So all that horse shit has to stop. It looks like it might now. But anyway, the two shootings. You got the woman in the van that was trying to drive away. The closest I could see is watching TV. I don't have a computer to zoom in. I didn't watch other people's videos. It does look like she brushed his legs. Going by law and by precedent, we all know a vehicle is a weapon. Did he really think he was trying to, or did he get scared? Of course he's shooting just as the car's going past him. Too late. You already made a decision, but he popped off a couple more. Regardless, that one's going to be justified. This dude, Pretty, that just got killed, that dude was killed. People can watch the videos over and over. They're struggling with the dude. Shortly before the one cop pulls his gun out, a guy behind him, one of the cops behind him and one in front pulls out a gun. You do not, when you're struggling with somebody, you got enough cops there. You don't. If I understand if it's a cop in a one-on-one fighting somebody, your gun's already out. You don't pull out a gun when you're struggling with somebody. I really believe, because accidental discharge, I really believe that dude, the first shot was done by accident because either the cop in the front and the gun back, they're fighting with the guy and they got guns in their hand. Fucking stupid when you got like 5 or 6 cops on somebody. So anyway, they hear the gunshot, they jump back away and they keep firing, and the one guy even hesitates and pumps off another 2, 3. They need to charge at least 2 of them people, and they will. Whether it's federal or the Minnesota law, they're going to charge them, even if they have to charge them in federal court. So move on from there. Oh, there's something, I got to pause. There's something about the other one I was going to say. The shooting in the van, but it just skipped my brain cell. I can't remember, so let's keep rolling on here. What do I got here? Okay, now Musk says he wants to put 1 million data centers in space controlled by solar panels. I don't know why he even said that. That's never going to fucking happen, not even with one data center. Because I Googled, I didn't write it down, all these megawatts and massive kilowatt hours just to run one of them places. You'd have to cover this whole fucking plant with solar panels, probably just to run one of them damn things. And as far as that goes, if they do start putting something into space, claiming it's a data center, it's horseshit. Just like I believe there's a lot of horseshit behind the Starlink satellites right now and the data centers we have down here. I believe the majority of that shit going on with that, really Musk wants to get in the cell phone business, give me internet business, give me a fucking break. I really believe the majority of shit they got going on right now in the atmosphere and actually up in space has to do with climate change and how much trouble we are in with this fucking planet dying, which I'm also going to address from the Make America Great Again standpoint here in a moment, which is after, I think, this paragraph. The Trump, I think I addressed this. Trump years back said he wants to take the guns from mentally ill people and worry about the courts later. That doesn't mean they want to take guns. There's not been one iota of anything and anybody in Trump want to take guns. It can't happen. They don't have the numbers and the manpower to do it. Trump now announced they want to do $12 billion to stock rare earth minerals. You can't stock them if you can't refine the motherfuckers and process them yourself. And we hear nothing. I tried Googling. We hear nothing about new processing centers being built anywhere. I gotta blow my nose. Hold on. Okay, Vance was on a press conference this morning while that immigration dude was talking in Minnesota. And so I went and fast skipped through the J.D. Vance one. They were talking about rare earth minerals. They're trying to get shit going with like 50 different countries. You got to be able to process and refine that shit yourself, which no country can do better. China has pretty much a monopoly on everything, especially all the heavy metal goodies. Because what the United States, I know what they want to do. They want to get other countries involved because they want to refine and process this shit in other countries. Because like I said when I brought this up in another video, if you just Google it, China has had to spend, I don't know how many billions or whatever dollars doing their own cleanup on their own Superfund sites because of the radiation and the poisonings from all this shit, which is fucking bad like it is, with the stuff in the solar panels, anyway, blah, blah, blah. My last thing here. Trump, make America great again. People have to be honest, and I've been addressing this bits and pieces here. Whoever's behind Trump, they are truly doing things to try to make America great again, or if you want to call it make America sustainable or make America survive, pick your fucking slogan. Of course, to the lesser people like us, which is roughly 80% or whatever, get the worst end of the stick. Yes, we do. Can it eventually get better? Who knows? It better get better with gas prices now that we got oil, 15 minutes, exaggeration, 15 minutes outside of Miami or whatever. But people don't get it. To make this country sustainable, the United States cannot support itself on food because of the seasons and because of our consumption. I don't care what anybody says. We do not have the cattle in this country, even to surprise to keep us full with the hamburger, the ground beef, the steaks, and the pigs and all that shit we want. If we went solo in this country just on beef products alone, there better be a lot more cattle ranchers open up, a lot more land, and you better give them all the water they want, because with these droughts and shit, matter of fact, that's another thing. With all these, we got this major storm out here that's just now clearing up way down south that went across from like New Mexico all the way up to Canada. The western end of the country is fucking suffering with snow. They're closing ski resorts. I think, Google that yourself, the Pacific Northwest, the 4 states, Oregon, Vail, Colorado, all over the place. Fucking 50% or less on the snowpack that they're supposed to have this time of year. And as I've been saying for years, keep an eye on that Colorado River and the Lake Mead water. When you look at the Lake Mead water levels, I thought those videos, when I figured it out, though, Lake Mead's really low or Lake Mead's really high. Up the road, you got Lake Powell, which has the Glen Canyon Dam, I believe. Well, if they get enough water there, they'll let it down, and Lake Mead will go. I mean, but there is a water shortage because they can't. They have to play that little game to send water back and forth. It's dry. We have serious fucking water issues, and people don't get it when it comes to cattle and the crops and all that. It's seasonal. I mean, and you got to be able to have the feed, the hay, the straw, and or your corn. I eat grass-fed beef, fed, and the one I can't remember what it's called. It's grass-fed from birth to death. Supposedly, I investigated the best I could, and anyways, and when it comes to fruits and vegetables, the United States, it's impossible to sustain ourselves with the consumption we have in this country, with the way it's seasonal. It's seasonal in every state in this country, but can you make America sustainable if you take over every country from Cuba down through South America up through the U.S. and into Canada? Can you make it? Because you'd have to be sustainable for gas, food, and pharmaceuticals would be the top ones. And Canada's supposed to be doing a bunch of drugs in Mexico. But you see, I guarantee you they know much more than we do on how bad this planet is dying and how much more devastating it's going to be than we do by what little we get of the truth and what we think we know. We think we know, or we think we know. That might be it. Let me pause here and see if there's anything else. Oh, and we're now on that subject. What Trump got rid is getting rid of and wants to get rid of more illegals. Got the oil reserve, shrunk the government. Of course, he did it. You can't just fire fucking 50, 100,000 people at a pop. You got to go by review record. That's fucking insane, that shit. I don't know how many got their jobs back. But anyway, you got to see where this country's going. Am I siding with Trump to a certain degree? Yes, I am. But who always gets screwed in the process? Us. Can it turn around and be made better? Who knows? And where you can this whole rare earth mineral thing, like I said, unless somebody starts building plants and refineries somewhere to do that shit, then what's the fucking point in going digging more and more of the ground? And I believe that's, like I said, I skipped through that thing that Vance just did with somebody this morning, talking to like 50 different countries, trying to get them involved in all this, so they don't have to do that here. Even though Trump, he's more than happy and has already got rid of. He's already said he would. He's already done it. Like get rid of. The EPA, the EPA regulations for like doing data centers, and if you want to drill for oil or natural gas or whatever the fuck, he's just wiping all that EPA shit. Of course, which has good things and which is bad, of course, because what do they do with all their waste? And matter of fact, fracking hasn't been on the news in a while. Oh, what else disappeared from the news? Because Epstein sure didn't. Oh, it was the benefit. No, the fucking money people were getting for Obamacare, the subsidies. Oh yeah, that's up and gone. But there was only 24 million people that affected, so that wasn't enough to make it worth saving. Anyway, what the hell? I think that's it. But enjoy the shit show and get ready to start bombing shit in the Middle East, and hope the gas prices go down.